Hello students, teachers, parents, history nerds. Hello everybody, and welcome to Nutshelled History, where we lay out the facts, the good, the bad, and the ugly. We continue with our Early America series with Presidents Adams and Jefferson. Check the description down below for a fill-in-the-blanks worksheet that goes along with this video. I just ask that you like and subscribe. Alright, let's go. The decision of the United States to remain neutral during the war between France and Britain angered France because it had been an ally during the American Revolution. They helped us, so they thought we should help them in return. Also, the signing of Jay's Treaty with Britain made it appear as if the United States favored Britain over France. As a result, France refused to meet with an American diplomat and continued to seize American ships. In 1797, Adams sent 3 diplomats to France. Agents of the French foreign minister demanded a bribe from the American diplomats before the minister would even talk to them, but the Americans refused to pay. Many Americans, especially Federalists, were outraged when they learned of the so-called XYZ affair. Although Adams did not want to go to war with France, he could not ignore the French attacks on American ships. So he strengthened the Navy by building frigates, fast-sailing ships with many guns. The move convinced France to stop the seizures. Adams sent another group of diplomats to France, where they met with an ambitious young officer, Napoleon Bonaparte. Because he was planning war against several other nations, Bonaparte had no time for a war with America and quickly signed a treaty in 1800. The treaty angered many of Adams's fellow Federalists who wanted war with France. During the crisis, Federalists pushed the Alien and Sedition Acts through Congress. Federalists feared that European immigrants would spread dangerous ideas inspired by the French Revolution to America. They also feared that the new immigrants would favor the pro-French Republican Party when they became citizens. The Alien Act gave the president the power to expel any immigrant. It also increased the length of time it took to become a citizen to 14 years. The Sedition Act targeted Republicans. The act made saying or writing anything insulting or false about the government a crime punishable by jail or a fine. The Sedition Act placed the harshest limits on free speech in the country's history. You remember in the beginning when I said the good, the bad, and the ugly? This is ugly. Several Democratic Republican newspaper editors and members of Congress were fined and jailed under the act. Republicans, including Thomas Jefferson, denounced the Alien and Sedition Acts. They worked through state legislatures to overturn the laws, saying that states had the right to declare federal laws unconstitutional. The Virginia and Kentucky resolutions had little short-term impact. No other states supported them. By 1802, the Alien and Sedition Acts had expired, and Congress restored the waiting period for citizenship to 5 years. The resolutions raised the issue of states' rights, the idea that the Union binding these United States is an agreement between the states and that they therefore can nullify a federal law. The presidential campaign of 1800 was a bitter contest between the Federalists and the Republicans. Thomas Jefferson, the Democratic-Republican candidate, received 73 electoral votes. He defeated John Adams, the Federalist candidate. According to the Constitution, the person who received the next highest total of electoral votes would become vice president. However, Aaron Burr, Jefferson's running mate, also received 73 votes. It was up to the House of Representatives to break the tie. After days of discussion, the House chose Jefferson. To avoid this situation in the future, the 12th Amendment to the Constitution established separate votes for president and vice president. After this election, the Federalist Party slowly declined. Thomas Jefferson saw his election as president as a chance to introduce new ideas. He thought of it as the Revolution of 1800. Jefferson's first goal was to reduce the federal government's power over states and citizens. He believed in an idea known as laissez-faire, which means that the government should not interfere with the economy. Before Adams left office, the Federalist-controlled Congress passed the Judiciary Act of 1801, which increased the number of federal judges. Although the Democratic Republicans fired 16 Adams-appointed judges when Jefferson took office, a powerful Federalist, John Marshall, was Chief Justice. he felt that the judicial branch was much weaker than the other two branches of government, and the scope of its powers was unclear. Then the Marbury v. Madison case came before the Supreme Court. William Marbury was the last judge appointed by Adams, but Jefferson ordered James Madison not to deliver the documents that would make the appointment official. Marbury sued Madison. By the law of the time, only the Supreme Court could rule on a case involving a federal official. The court ruled against Marbury, with Marshall saying that the Constitution did not give the court the power to make such a ruling. The case changed the relationship among the three branches of government. This ruling established judicial review, or the authority of the Supreme Court to strike down laws that it found unconstitutional. The Democratic Republicans, including Jefferson, were angered by the ruling. However, in the end, the President and Congress accepted the right of the court to overturn laws it deemed unconstitutional. Okay, it's recap time. John Adams was our second president, and he presided when France and Britain were at it again. France thought that we owed them one from the American Revolution, so they got pissy when we stayed neutral. They even wanted money to even talk, and that is the XYZ affair. We started building frigates and the Frenchies stopped seizing our ships. Then we seized some civil liberties with the Alien and Sedition Acts. Speech wasn't free for a while. Thomas Jefferson became our third president, and it showed that we could have a peaceful transfer of power. But come on, there still has to be drama. Issues with the appointment of midnight judges resulted in the Supreme Court case Marbury v. Madison, which might be the most important case ever because it established the principle of judicial review. The court now had the power to strike down laws that it deemed unconstitutional. Good for you, SCOTUS. That's going to help us out a lot in the future. Yes, there is more to Jefferson's presidency. We will get to that next time. There you have it, folks. That's Presidents Adams and Jefferson nutshelled. Thanks for stopping by Nutshelled History. Go nuts on those like and subscribe buttons, and tell us what you think about the Sedition Acts in the comments down below.